In the realm of Arvather, where mountains whispered to the wind and rivers sang songs of ancient kings, there lived a warrior named Thalion, a man whose name echoed to the lands like thunder. He was not born of royalty, nor did he hail from any known bloodline of the gods, but the skies themselves had chosen him. As a young boy, Thalion was struck by lightning while climbing Mount Etheler in search of a lost lamb. Rather than killing him, the lightning surged through his veins, igniting his soul with celestial fire. The storm had marked him, granting him dominion over thunder and unmatched strength. Villages sang his praise. Armies bowed to his might. Dragons feared his name. They called him Thalion the Thunderblade, for his sword could channel lightning, and with a single strike, he could split mountains. But greatness, as often told in legends, is as fragile as it is grand. In the 17th year of Thalion's reign as a champion of Arvather, a stranger came to the citadel. She was unlike any being Thalion had ever seen. Asterisk, asterisk, a woman cloaked in a silver veil, asterisk, asterisk. Her skin like moonlit marble, her voice as soft as dusk rain. She called herself Seraphine. She came seeking refuge, claiming to be a lost priestess of the Moon Isles. Her beauty was arresting, full, shapely, and flowing like a river carved by the gods themselves. But it was not just her form that ensnared Thalion, it was her presence. She moved like poetry, and when she looked at him, he forgot he was a warrior. He forgot he was a god-touched force of nature. She saw the power in him and cradled it like it was a fragile thing. And so Thalion, the breaker of tyrants, let down his sword and opened his heart. In the weeks that followed, Thalion became softer, not in kindness, but in vigilance. He skipped councils of war. He left his sword untouched for days. Instead, he lay beneath the stars with Seraphine, whispering dreams, sipping wine, drowning in the fragrance of her silken skin. Her laughter became his addiction, her touch his undoing. What Thalion did not know was that Seraphine was not of the Moon Isles. She was a soul which, sent by the last of the Shadow Lords who had been cast into exile by Thalion's very hand. They could not kill the Thunderblade, but they could unmake him. Every night, Seraphine would press her lips against his skin and draw from him the lightning that coursed through his blood. Bit by bit, kiss by kiss, she stole his power. She fed on it. She bathed in it. And Thalion, drunk on her love, never noticed the cold returning to his veins, until the day he tried to lift his sword, and it felt heavy, until the skies no longer answered his call. The armies of the Shadow Lord struck, without warning. Fire rained upon the kingdom. Thalion ran to the gates, barefoot, half-dressed, and weaponless. He reached for the storm, but the sky was silent. No thunder answered. His soldiers fell. His people screamed. The city he once protected with godlike wrath was burning. Then she appeared, Seraphine, now adorned in black. Her silver veil was gone, revealing eyes like wells of night. She smiled at him, not with warmth but with triumph. "You were never meant to keep that power, Thalion," she whispered. "It was always meant to return to the void." She left him on his knees, broken, as her dark forces marched over the bones of his kingdom. Years passed. Thalion became a shadow of who he once was, a wanderer, a man with no lightning in his veins, no sword in his hand, only regret in his eyes. He bore the weight of 1,000 deaths. He carried the silence of the storm that once obeyed him, but there were still moments when he stared into the horizon and whispered her name, not with hatred, but with heartbreak. He loved her, even now, not because of her body or the way she moved like fire dressed in silk. He loved her because, for a brief time, she made him forget the weight of power. She made him feel like a man, not a god, but he paid the price. One evening, as he walked alone through the ash-laden fields of what used to be Arvather, a single flash of lightning cracked the sky. Just one, brief, fleeting. Thalion looked up, and for the first time in years, he smiled. Perhaps the gods had not fully turned their backs. Perhaps a piece of the storm still lived within. And perhaps one day he would rise again, not as a Thunderblade, but as a man who knew the cost of love and still chose to fight. It began as a whisper in the wind. In the years since the fall of Arvather, Thalion had wandered forgotten lands, helping those in need with what little strength he had left. He was no longer a hero in shining steel, but cloaked traveler with scarred hands and tired eyes. And yet, his heart never stopped listening, for the storm, for the gods, or for justice. The single crack of lightning he saw that day wasn't a trick of the clouds. It was a summoning, deep within the ruins of Ethelr. The very mountain where the storm first touched him lay a forgotten shrine, a place only one born of thunder could enter. And so the lion journeyed there, guided by instinct, guilt, and the memory of who he used to be. What he found was an ancient remnant of the storm, a shard of primordial lightning, sealed away after Seraphine drained his soul. It called to him not as a master, but as a test. To reclaim it, he had to confront everything he lost. The shrine was not stone and gold, but wind and memory. Inside, the lion saw visions, the burning of Arvathur, the betrayal in Seraphine's smile, the thousands who died believing he would save them. He fell to his knees. "I don't deserve power," he whispered. And the storm whispered back, "Power was never a gift. It was a burden you chose." And so he chose again. In that moment, the lion opened himself to the storm, not with pride but humility. The primordial lightning surged into his heart once more, not as a weapon but as a part of him. His eyes burned with white fire. His veins lit like the sky before rain. He was storm-bound again. Not the man he was, not yet a god, but something in between. The lands were now ruled by darkness. Seraphine sat beside the last Shadow Lord, wielding the power she had stolen from the lion to maintain dominion over 10 broken kingdoms. But she was not the same. She had devoured too much celestial power, more than any mortal soul could hold. It was unraveling her. Her beauty had grown sharper, more unnatural, and her eyes flickered with storms she couldn't control. She felt in the moment he rose again. One night, while addressing her court, she stopped mid-sentence and whispered, "He's alive." The Shadow Lord laughed. "Then we will crush him again." But Seraphine did not laugh. She remembered his touch, the way he once held her heart without ever knowing it. She remembered the tears he shed when she betrayed him, and beneath her throne of obsidian and fire, she trembled. The lion didn't raise an army. He walked alone into the dark kingdom, lightning cracking behind every step. Shadows fled from him. The people whispered his name again, some in fear, some in hope. Storms formed over cities that hadn't seen rain in years. And at the gates of the dark keep, Seraphine waited. She wore black again, this time not as a disguise, but as mourning. "You came," she said, her voice softer than he remembered. "You stole everything," the lion replied, "and I still loved you." For a moment, neither moved. And then she drew her power, blackened lightning twisted by dark magic, and hurled it at him. The lion caught it in his bare hand. It hissed, sparked, and fizzled away. He stepped forward. "Your storm is not yours," he said. "It never was." The sky broke open above them. Lightning rained like fire. They clashed, storm against storm, heart against heart. It was not just a battle of might, but of will. Seraphine fought with fury and grief. The lion fought with sorrow and purpose. And in the final moment, as they stood locked in struggle, he saw the truth in her eyes. She had loved him. She had never stopped. "I wanted to feel like I mattered," she gasped, weakened, bleeding light from her fingertips. "They promised I would become a goddess." The lion lowered his sword. "You already were to me." And then the sky screamed. A final bolt of divine thunder descended, not to destroy her, but to cleanse her. It shattered the stolen power within her, sending it back to the stars. She fell into Thalion's arms, unconscious, no longer a soul which just Seraphine, the woman she might have been. The lion did not kill her. He took her far away, to a monastery of the sky monks, where broken things were healed, not judged. Then he disappeared again, not to hide, but to protect, for he had learned the storm was never a crown. It was a torch. And somewhere in the quiet corners of the world, where injustice still walked and tyrants rose in the shadows, the storm would whisper once more, and the lion the storm-bound would rise.